In this video, we're going to go over the practice problems in section 1.6 on page 55 in your workbook. You're going to need to use the chart in the front of 1.6 in order to solve some of these problems. You can use any strategy to solve. Mrs. Maneri made 4 1/2 quarts of lemonade. How many fluid ounces of lemonade did she make? So we're going from a big unit to a small unit. This makes me think of our gallon chart we did in class, but we're only going to use the Q since we're going from quarts smaller. Inside 1 quart is 2 pints. Make the bellies really big on your P's, and inside each pint is a cup, is 2 cups actually. Inside each cup is 8 for 8 ounces. So put a little 8 inside each of your cups. We're actually going to use this for 2 problems. Let's use our chart. We know there's 8 ounces in 1 cup. I can see it in my picture. I know that there are 4 cups in this quart. That is 8, 16, 24, 32 ounces. Four cups is 1 quart. We are going to 4 1/2 quarts. So that means everything is being multiplied by 4 1/2. Let's get our calculator. 32 times 4 1/2 on a calculator is 4.5. 144 ounces is our answer. Although that's the case, I'm still going to show how many cups that is. 4 times 4.5 is 18. Number 2. A class walked 2 1/2 miles for a walkathon. How many yards did the class walk? We have multiple steps to this conversion, going from miles to feet to yards. Let's start writing down things that we know. I'm going to split this in half. I'm going to write 1/2 mile, 1 mile, 2 miles, 2 1/2 miles. I'm building my problem up to the 2 1/2 that they give me in the problem. Because in our notes, it tells us 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Now that I know that, I can use that to help me figure out the rest of these numbers. 5,280 divided by 2 is 2,640. Make sure you're practicing on your calculator with me, even if you have to pause the video. I know that from 1 to 2 miles, that's doubling it, so 5,280 feet doubled is 10,560. This helps me to figure out 2 1/2. If I add my 2 miles and my 1/2 miles together, I figure out that is equal to 13,200 feet. I need to use that to figure out my final answer. Now I have to go from feet to yards. In our notes, we wrote that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. We have 13,200 feet that was walked. You're figuring out how many yards that is. Instead of doing 3 times some number to get 13,200, divide them. 13,200 divided by 3. 4,400. So my scale factor is 4,400, and since 1 times 4,400 is itself, that is our answer. Number 3, the Martinez family has 3/4 a gallon of orange juice in the fridge. How many cups will that be? 3/4, you want to know how many cups. I can use that picture up here to help me solve this. I'm also going to draw it as bars off to the side. Let's do that. Let's draw a rectangle and label it 1 gallon. Let's draw a rectangle underneath it. There are 4 quarts in a gallon. We only have 3 out of the 4, so I'm going to cross one off. We have 3 quarts, 3 out of the 4. We want to know how many cups that is. Let's draw another row. If I look at my picture up here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cups in 1 quart. There are 4 cups in each of these quarts. And again, we're not using the last one. So if I use my picture, 4, 8, 12 is my answer. I also could have written it like this. I'm going to go quick on this one. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, which equals 16 cups. If we have 3/4 the gallon, then we only have 3 quarts, and that is 12 cups. Number 4, a grand piano can weigh ½ ton. How many ounces can a grand piano weigh? So we're going from this big unit to this really tiny unit. In the front of our book, it tells us 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. LBS is pounds. Well, if I only have half the ton, half of 2,000 is 1,000. Now that I know that, I need that 16 ounces equals 1 pound. We have 1,000 pounds. So this is 1,000 times bigger. So we times both sides by 1,000. 16, 1,000 times is 16,000. Make sure you're circling your answer. The next problem is very similar. A female hippopotamus can weigh 48,000 ounces. How many tons can a female hippopotamus weigh? We know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. They give us 48,000 ounces. How do we go from 16 to 48,000? I'm going to use my calculator. 48,000 divided by 16. 3,000 is our scale factor. So times 3,000. That's 3,000 pounds. Now we have to figure out how many tons that is. If 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, and we have 3,000, 3,000 goes here, that would be 1½ tons. Number 6. At soccer practice, Tracy's best kick traveled a distance of 1,200 inches. How many yards did she kick the ball? We know there are 12 inches in 1 yard. Just kidding. 12 inches in a foot. What am I thinking? 12 inches, 1 foot. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. There we go. And then we know there are 36 inches in 1 yard. Just going through that process of getting inches to yards. We're going to use this to help us solve. I could have just started with that, but I thought I would lead you to it. If 36 inches equals 1 yard, and we have 1,200 inches, we have to divide 1,200 and 36. Let me show you. We get 33.333. 33.3. That is really 33 1/3. That's a tricky one. You could write it as a decimal. 33.3. Either one's acceptable. To use a calculator, you would get 33.3, but that is the same thing as 33 1/3. Number 7. An elephant can drink up to 6,400 fluid ounces of water a day. How many gallons of water did the elephant drink per day? Well, we know that they're in 1 gallon. There are 128 ounces. And I can look at my chart to figure that out, or I can go back up to this picture and just count. If there are 6,400 ounces, that goes here, we're going to divide those two numbers. 6,400 divided by 128. 50 is our scale factor. Times 50 on both sides. That means they drink 50 gallons per day. That's my answer, so I'm going to circle it. Number 8. A recipe for ice cream calls for 56 fluid ounces of milk. How many pints will that be? We know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pint. If you have 56 ounces, we're going to divide those two numbers. 56 divided by 16. 3.5 is our scale factor. We have to multiply both sides by 3.5, and anything times 1 is itself. 3.5 pints is our answer. I'm going to pause the video and you can finish the rest on your own.